Welcome to the Smyle Co podcast. Smyle Co is a platform to encourage and inspire creators to live their dreams and do what makes them smile. We lead by example by raising our frequency and manifesting our reality. My name is Kevin Hayashi. This is my co-host Ian Knightley.
Hey.
And this is our special guest, Vana Liya.
What up?
So
Have you.
I'm so excited to finally have all of us together. This is actually, is this the first one we're releasing with you co-hosting?
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. And
I feel
then
special.
Right.
you are special.
What's up, Ian?
What's up?
And Vana, we've been trying to get you on for a while, but you know, you've been on tour, doing some incredible things.
And you've been in really cool places too. You know, we're just two cool people with first world problems scheduling, you know?
But you know, the universe works out when it does. So divine timing has brought us all here. So, you know, so I really enjoy telling people stories and amazing creators like yourself, and kind of telling where you got your inspiration. How did you become in this, you know, wonderful space of creating music and living your dreams? And so I'll let you start wherever you want to begin.
Yeah, so it was just a complete accident. Like how you're saying the universe takes you where you're supposed to be. That's just kind of what happened with me. I've always had a love for music, you know, but like every time I tried out for like a solo in choir or whatever, I never got it. Or when I tried out for like parts in the school play, I was always like in the choir, like I never got a part, you know. I was like, let me at least be like taxi cab driver number 2, you know, you know, but that never happened. So I always thought of like music as like not like a profession. I always thought it was like such a hard thing to break into if you were going to do it. And long story short, I was going to school in Long Island, and I was applying for occupational therapy programs, like my pre-med. I was doing like a pre-med requisite, and I was going to do like medical school, but then I decided I was going to do occupational therapy instead. And I was doing like reggae covers, like to break up the time, because my schedule was just like so insane. Like if you missed a class, like you couldn't graduate, you know. So I was so stressed out, and I was just doing covers in my room. And the first like cover I ever did was a Pepper cover. They saw the cover, then they reposted it, and then somehow I ended up on their record label. And you know, like now I'm like touring and stuff. And I don't know, like how you were saying that the universe just takes you where you're supposed to be. I just feel like there's a certain type of person that can get through to other people, especially maybe through music. And I'm not saying that I'm that person, but the universe has kind of pushed me in that position, and I feel like it's been working out. So I'm just kind of embracing what's coming to me, you know?
That's beautiful. When was that when you started? How long ago?
So I was probably like 2017 is like when I started doing the covers, and then they like noticed me like around then, and they like wanted to sign me like right then and there and do stuff. And I was like, look, I paid for school all myself, and I was like, I can't miss any classes, and if I really need to get this degree, because my parents are immigrants, and like they just wanted to see like one of the children like become a doctor, and I was like so close. So I was like, let me just get at least like the piece of paper for them, and like if it doesn't work out, I'll go back. So I was like, look, can you like hold out for me to like just finish school, and then I'll go tour and stuff. And so they waited until like April of 2018. We put out my first song, and then I like started touring shortly after. So it was like I'm very grateful that they were that nice, because you know, other record labels, like they eat you up, and they're like, oh, if you're not ready for this opportunity, you know, they wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like, I'm a family girl, you know. My mom, like, she came to this country with nothing. My dad came to this country with nothing, and like they sent me to university. So I was not about to like throw that down the drain for like opportunity, you know. And if it was supposed to be right, it was going to work out, and it did. So
Where did they come from?
a little country called Guyana in South America. A lot of people think just because like it's attached to South America that it is not part of the Caribbean, but we are Caribbean. So that's kind of like how I ended up in the reggae scene. I've always had a love for like reggae and dancehall music. That's like what I grew up with, reggae, soca, calypso, you know. And so just being in New York, you know, you kind of get introduced to like the Americanized version of reggae. So like I've always been listening to like, you know, people like Elephant Man and Beanie Man and like, you know, Bears Hammond, and then you get to New York and, you know, you know, you've got like people like Pepper touring and Stick Figure touring, and you're like, whoa, what is this? But it's kind of has like the like rock and roll vibe that I liked, but also like had the reggae roots that's like a part of me. So the scene just kind of happened.
That's awesome.
I like that.
It's
That's
been
cool.
wild.
That is cool. You just got off tour. How was that?
It was great. I went on tour with a band called The Hip Abduction. They're like from Florida, but they were like one of my favorite bands back when I was in New York even. So it's like cool to like all these things like kind of come full circle, you know, even like with the Pepper thing, you know, too. It's like I have like Pepper tattoos. Like before I got signed to their label, I was like riding the rail. Like I'd go to shows by myself because like it's not like California where like, oh, they'll just play San Diego just like on a one-off show. It's like they only come to New York once a year, like on one tour. So I would go to like New York, Boston, Connecticut, New Jersey, like whatever was in the route. And I used to not go because like no one would go with me, and I was like,
What are those shows that they play over there?
what do you mean?
Like, what's the festival or like?
Oh,
what's
like,
it?
like they don't even really have like they just started like Reggae Rise Up Maryland, and that's
Oh,
like
okay.
the
So
closest
you're
thing.
talking
But
like, yeah.
other than that, it was like tours. It's like Slightly Stupid does like their summer tour, and it's
Yeah.
like depending on who
Playing
they're
at a
bringing
venue,
out,
yeah.
or if Pepper does like it was very rare. It was like every other year Pepper would do their own tour, but it was like whoever's coming out on the summer tour, and sometimes like the dates would interlap, and then you're just kind of like, fuck, I got to go to Boston for this show, and Connecticut for this show, and Jersey for this show.
I think that's something in California we're definitely blessed with. It's just like we have so many different music festivals going on all the time that we're like, oh, we'll hop over here, or we could go see this over there, or you know, it's not. Then all the people on the East Coast, I notice, are always just like, like you don't have to really
There's
plan.
Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like a few. Yeah, it's ridiculous in, you know, Southern California. There's just festival after festival after
Well, you guys like have
festival.
the weather for it. It's like
They
a
also
Right.
do
short
live over here too, though.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like a short window in New York to like have festivals and get
True.
stuff done. But then also it's like if you're just talking about like the reggae crowd in general, it's like everybody lives over here. And that's
Yep.
kind of like why I came over here. I just felt like I was reaching my max in New York, and I was like, I can't go any further. I'm like, I've reached the top of like here, and if I like want to like I just realized momentum is so important. It's like once you have the momentum, you can't stop. It's like you put in all this hustle to like get the ball rolling, and now that it's rolling a little bit, like we really got to push it down the hill. So I was like, I didn't do all this for nothing. So then I had to have the hard talk with my mom, and I was like, hey, I gotta go to the other side of the country. She's not like the most stoked, but she was so supportive, especially for being like a Caribbean, like both my parents, like straight off the boat, like, you know, they were just like, you know what, go do it. Like, this is a dream. Like, we realize this doesn't happen. And I was like, what, really? You know, and now they like watch the live streams of the concerts, like wearing
Aw.
Vana shirts and stuff. It's really
Oh,
cute.
that's so cool.
It's cute. So I'm like, I'm very, very blessed. But like, yeah, exactly. That's why I love being in San Diego. It's just like, everybody's here. You can throw a festival in December and like people will still come.
Isn't it wild
True.
how amazing San Diego is?
Yeah, you can get amazing edibles in the store, and you know they don't even taste like weed.
What
Smile.
do you mean? What are you talking about? So yeah, it's actually cool how we met
Yeah.
through our brand Smyle. And thank you for the kind words that you were telling me about earlier about
Yeah.
the people liking our stuff. And I'm excited to give you some samples of our pre-rolls and our disposable vapes that we're coming out with.
Yeah, I'm really excited for like all that stuff to hit because, you know, for those of you who don't know, I sling weed in my spare time when I'm not touring, and our shop carries Smyle, and everybody absolutely loves it. And so I really think that, I don't know, just in the short amount of time that it's been in the shop too, it's been cool to see the brand grow. It's cool to see like the positive response and like, because sometimes, you know, every person's different, and like sometimes I will really like something, but it doesn't mean that somebody else will really like it. So it's been kind of cool to see like the general reaction be like, oh, I've had those before and they're really, really good. So I think just for like the expansion that you guys are doing, I think it's gonna translate really, really well.
Thank you. yeah, this will be actually pretty much a year. I mean, we've been working on it. Now it'd be probably 5 years.
Wow.
This is probably our 5th year of working on it, but we've only been out for a year.
Wow.
So, very, very grateful for how San Diego's responded to it, and the other cities that have had it, and the people that have. What's cool about San Diego too, and Golden State Greens, much love to Adam and the whole crew. They were the first ones to carry us, to believe in us. So forever, have gratitude towards them. And it's cool because they're very close to the airport. So
Yeah.
all kinds of people that visit come through there.
People come with their suitcases.
Yeah.
Shout out to Golden State Greens. But yeah, people be pulling out with their suitcases, and they're like, and that's like the best opportunity because you have control as the bud tender. Like, as opposed to like, some people come down for a Humboldt and they don't want your opinion. They know what they want already. But then when you have people who like, they're kind of like a baby, you get to like mold their mind. I'm like, no, this is what you want. Like, they don't know what they want, so you have to tell them what they want. And then it's like they come in a couple days later and they're like, oh man, I love the stuff you gave me. So then it's like, it's beautiful to have that opportunity, because when you're trying to like bud tend to like someone who is familiar with cannabis brands, like most people who do come, they're like, from Kentucky and they've never had weed before, so they don't know anything about the brands. But when you're like trying to maybe like convince somebody who's been around for a while to try a new brand, sometimes it's like kind of hard to kind of push them over the edge. And I'm like, yo, I've had it and it's really good. But then some people are like, I don't know, I've had people who like don't take you seriously because you're a girl bud tender. They don't think you know what you're talking about, and they need a guy to like reassure them. But then like lo and behold, they'll like take the product home and they come back and they're like, actually that was really good. And I was like, I know.
I was trying
Like,
to tell
I
you that.
tried it and I'm telling you it's good. It's like we have the neon sign up here for a reason. Like, it's good. So
What is your go-to when it comes to consuming? You like joints, or you like pre-rolls, or?
I'm a joint gal, but
Yeah.
I've really been trying to just like vape, like volcano vape. I have like the volcano at home, and then I have like, they came up with like the Mighty, which is like their handhelds, just to conserve my voice, because like when I moved from New York to California, the weed game was so different. Like, I like will look back on like memories of like my old pictures of like an ounce I used to pick up, and I used to think it looked so fire, and I'm like, I'm so embarrassed I posted this. This looks like absolute brick weed. Like, this is horrible. And now I'm all like, I only smoke CBX, only smoke Alien Labs, like I don't really smoke anything else, but like, so I've been trying to do that just to conserve my voice, but I was a late to the game weed smoker, so like 27 is really when I started smoking like every day. So I love like infused pre-rolls, because I'm just like, wow, I can get that high that quick. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, we are just about to release some of those, so I'm super excited. Yeah, it's crazy how it's evolved.
Yeah.
It used to just be like dank bomb weed, and now, especially people on the East Coast, there's like California knew the different strains, and then the rest of the country had no idea. Now everyone is so picky.
Yeah. Well, even in like the evolution of things here, like so my brother came to visit me for the first time in California, and I like went crazy trying to like stock up on stuff for him, because I feel like it's a rite of passage to like smoke up the person who taught you how to smoke, It's like, if you're coming to visit me here, like the land of weed, I got to show you the good stuff, because you are the even reason like I even know about any of this stuff, And like, he like went through my drawer and he was like, I don't even know what any of this stuff is. He's like, what is ice hash? Like, liquid diamonds? Like, what does that mean? And I'm like, oh yeah, like you could try this one's rosin this. He's like, what's rosin? Like, because like even though weed is legal in New York, like he has like the medical card. So it's like anytime I go there, it's like the jar just says like an eighth of flower indica. I'm like, what strain is this? Like, what percent THC? I'm like, how many terpenes? He's like, we don't get that information over here. Like, it's like evolving now there, but it's like so crazy to just see.
You get sativa indica hybrid. That's
Yeah,
your choices.
he's like, it's an indica. I'm like, okay, but like what strain? I'm like, I want to know, and it's not a thing for them. So he's like looking at this like what, and like even just showing him the smile is like, he couldn't believe that there was like an edible where like you couldn't taste the weed. He was like, if I didn't know, I would have ate the whole thing. Like, would have no idea that it's like edibles, So it's cool to also have like that aspect of it too, because I forget how lucky we are out here, just like,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely. And it's it's crazy how much I've learned just being in the industry for a couple of years but it's like, say, rosin, for example, and live rosin, which live means you chop the plant down and you freeze it. A lot of people chop the plant down, they hang it, and it dies. Live rosin, and then rosin is where you don't use a solvent, and the solvent could either be butane or ethanol or some medium that they use to extract the essence out of the plant. In rosin, they just use water and ice, and they shake it, and they take the THC that comes off of that, and they squeeze it through heat and pressure, and that is the cleanest way to actually take it. Which that right there is one of our live rosins, which is Point Loma Pina Colada, I think, right there. But it's crazy how beneficial that is for you too, because I describe to people like it's like a multivitamin.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the distillate, you're just pulling out the THC, which tastes really good and stuff too, but the rosin is solventless, and then it actually is like taking a multivitamin, but it just heals the body, helps the body get into homeostasis and so many healing factors. And that's what's really cool. That's what we're excited about, because we can be, I don't like using the word pharma, but we become like almost like a pharmaceutical company in the positive way of helping people understand exactly what they want. All of our stuff is strain specific. A lot of people don't use strain specific stuff because it's cheaper if you just take all the indica or all the sativa shake, and it's cheaper, and they just gather it, and now it's just a sativa. But I want it to be a specific. I want it to be sour diesel, so you know exactly that it's just sour diesel. Because when you take all the shake, that's almost like mixing a Xanax with an Adderall with a Viagra. You don't know, you know? And so now we can actually help people come in and know the desired effect that they really want.
Yeah.
And that's also why I'm really happy that we're doing it here in California and in San Diego, where the competition is the highest, you know? So if we can succeed here, we can succeed anywhere in the whole world, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and like you said, not a lot of people are doing the strain specific, so I think that's like a great thing. Even just to get like indica sativa hybrid is like a step. So then to do like another step up, and then, you know, people like my brother and I, like, you know, we're in our 30s now, and we're like trying to take care of our bodies. So it's like also too, it's like I'm always looking for like live rosin, because it's just a little bit cleaner, you know. And like some people argue it's like not that much, but like for me personally, it makes me feel better. It's like I'd rather like just have something that's a little bit cleaner, and you know.
I've noticed the difference with live rosin completely. As soon as it came out, I started noticing it was like, wow, this is the move.
yeah.
Like,
What were your first like thoughts about it when you took the rosin?
I mean, I just felt like I was like definitely got higher off of it. But
Yeah,
it was
right?
Like, but it was like a cleaner. I don't know. More
You're not as
constant-
cloudy.
It wasn't as cloudy. I was like, whoa, I don't know what this is, but like this is what we're going towards.
You're like, something's happening, but
No, then you just saw it pop up. Now everyone's carrying live rosin. You're seeing it almost like is, you know, at least in California, it's just all going towards live rosin. So,
yeah,
you
totally.
know, like, oh, I wonder why. Because, you know, it is actually a difference. And the process is completely, you know, think about the process of like how it actually it's broken down. Like, you know, you're hanging up a tree, it's dying, you know, and then you're taking it off, where it's live rosin, you're freezing it, you're keeping it alive. It's almost like it's like raw organic. You know, when people are vegans or anything are raw, you know, raw vegan, it's like raw vegans are a lot, that's crazier than, you know, like healthier than going just, you know, vegan.
That's like so funny that you say that, because whenever like I'm at the shop and like people, like I explain the difference then between like distillate live resin and rosin, I'm always like, live rosin is the Whole Foods. I was like, that's all organic, like no, but like that's what you want. Like if you want the clean raw stuff, you need to get the rosin.
Well, we'll see how long that Whole Foods is Whole Foods. I have a feeling.
Everything is forever changing.
Yeah. Nothing against that, but I just really big in the
You're
ingredients.
just going down, that's all.
I mean, don't trust Jeff Bezos. Just kidding. Just kidding, Jeff. If you're watching, I love your stuff.
That'd be impressive if he was watching. It's like Smile's really taking over if he's watching.
If you sue me, just put the article. Spell my name right, please.
If you sue, just sue him. This is his podcast.
It was her idea. It was Vana's idea. That's the whole reason why she wanted to come on. Spell her name right too, please.
Actually, you said my name right. I was very surprised.
Really? How do people say it?
I get Vana Liya or like Vana Liya sometimes. And it was actually like a whole struggle too to get like the name down, because my real name is Nirvana Goberdan. That's my first and last name. So when I used to play live, people would just put like Nirvana G on like the chalkboard, and then people thought that I was like a Nirvana cover band, and then it was like this little girl with like the ukulele would like come out on the stool and like
You're like, this
play reggae.
smells like Teen Spirit.
Yeah, they're like, what the hell is this? So I was like, all right, you know what? If I want people to like Google me, I need to like come up with something.
So you came up with that?
Well, okay, so Vana is obviously like half of Nirvana. And then there was a girl, because my family and friends used to call me Vana. So it's like weird now that like everyone calls me Vana, because like at first I was like, oh, you're not my mom. Like my mom only calls me Vana, you know? But then there was this chick in the UK who was also named Vana, but with two N's. So I guess it was Vanna. But then I just didn't want to like, I don't know, I just wanted like one clean Google search and it would be me. And growing up, like my grandma always used to call me Aaliyah. Like in Guyana, they have call names, which are like completely unrelated to your actual name. So she used to call me Aaliyah all the time. And she unfortunately has passed on, but when I was like trying to figure out what my stage name would be, I was always thinking like, am I making the right move, like doing music, like instead of like doing the doctor thing, like would she be proud of this? And I remember taking like my last final of like my college career, and I walked out and the name Vana Liya hit me, because she used to call me Aaliyah. So I was like, Vana Liya, that sounds pretty cool. So then I just like, I hit up Yasad, the drummer from Pepper, because he was the one who like was really kind of holding my hand through like the record label process. And I was like, what do you think about this name? And he's like, it's badass, let's do it. So I don't know, I just kind of picked it, and now it's with me forever.
I love that name. That's such a good story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Try to do everything with meaning and purpose behind it. I think that, you know, everybody has a unique take, and especially when you're in a position where like, whether you like it or not, like the camera and microphone is always on you. So it's like, if I'm going to be doing something and putting my time and effort into it, I want it to have like meaning and purpose behind it, because it's going to reach somebody somewhere. So I should be thoughtful about it.
When you were growing up, were you like thinking of being like wanting to sing or get into music, or what was going on then?
No, I just never, I never thought it was possible. I was like, people just find those types of people on the street, or they really try, or they were like child stars, or I never thought it was like possible. So like, I always like had a passion for music. I loved music, you know? And then there was like a few summers where like me and my brother just would like go in the pool and play Rock Band like all summer. And I was like, man, I'd really like love to like play in a band. And he's like, let's stop playing Rock Band, let's play real band, you know? And then like he learned drums and I learned bass, and then I realized very quickly that I couldn't play bass and sing. And so then I tried guitar, but then I also felt like my hands were just so small, and like the chord changes were just taking a long time, you know? It's like I'm in the middle of a song, but like I couldn't get it to like flow right. And then like I kind of gave up, and then my mom got me a ukulele for Christmas, and then I learned like 10 songs in one day, and so then I've become the ukulele girl ever since.
Oh, that's dope.
But it's been wild, just being able to like hang out with like your favorite bands and stuff. Like I was just talking to my brother about it the other day, because like just like picking him up and stuff, like I got to spend like Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, and like Kaleo from Pepper, I got to spend his birthday with him, and we've been hanging out like the past like 3 weeks. And you know, I can't tell you how many times I've seen them play live. I know every word to every song. I have like 3 Pepper tattoos, you know, like I love those guys. And now it's like we live down the block from each other, and it's like I never would have thought in a million years I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm just, you know, gonna go to Kaleo's house for Christmas Eve. And I don't know, it's just been really nice to have like the people you look up to also be as sweet as you hope that they are.
Right. Yeah, I'm experiencing a lot of that too, and it's really, really cool, you know? I actually, Pepper a long time ago was playing in Santa Barbara at like, I think they were playing a show at night. It might have been Santa Barbara, and then they played at like the Van store or something. And I got there, I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I look at the store, and I'm always thinking about how to get backstage, right? When I was younger, getting there, and I'm like, I was like, I see it behind there. So I was like, let's go around here. I bet we could walk around the stores. And we walked around the stores, and then I met him, and I had like one of the masters of like this record that I was working on, and I gave it to him. And he was just, I don't know, it's just, I snuck back a few times, and they were always super cool. They probably have no idea or remember, but they were always really cool, and that's like a good, it's a really cool memory when you meet people and they're not jerks,
Yeah, or they just like live up to like what you hope that
Yeah.
they would be. It's like, I can tell you like from the moment I was like 17 to like now, they've been like my top artists on my Spotify. So like being able to work with them is like a dream because they're also like super sweet. Like the first time we have a song together called Round and Round, and it was like even just
Which is amazing, by the way.
thank you.
Love that song.
Just even having him on that song, like I remember like me and Johnny Cosmic, he was doing the record and we were trying to figure out like who we'd get for a feature, and I was like, man, it'd be really cool if like we could get Kaleo. And if you know Johnny, he's like a man of like not too many words, and so he didn't really tell me like what was going on. He just like sends me a new version of the track after us like not working on it for like a month, and I hear my vocals like everything we'd worked on previously, and then I hear Kaleo's vocal come in, and I'm like, holy shit, he did the song, like no way. And it was just such a surreal feeling to like hear someone that I've been listening to years and years and years, like be on a song with me. Like it's our vocals together, and like the fact that he loves the song, and like now we're working on the second record, and he's been listening to it, and there's like a few songs that have like some spaces for some features, and he's like, hey Vana, like who's on that song? Like maybe I could do it. And I'm like, wow, like I had to ask you before, now you're asking me. Like it's so wild. I think that like even if I don't go further than where I'm at, like just the little personal goals that I've been able to accomplish, like has been made it worth it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a beautiful thing. And it's like you are, the friendships that we gain along the way are so valuable, Like so many people out there are breaking their backs for jobs and, having these relationships that they don't want to have, and to create, and your music's touching so many people, and then to have, I don't know, it's just such a beautiful thing when you create music and then you have these other artists create together, and then now you're bringing vocals from someone else in. It's just a incredibly beautiful thing.
And like, and the reggae scene too, like that's what they love. Like the whole, like everybody's message is like peace, love, and unity. So it's like when you're bringing that unity through, like, artists that like they love, and you're putting them together, it's like it's wild. And you don't have like that like of course it's a business, so you will have a little bit of it in certain regards, but like when it comes down to the artists themselves, there's not too much of that ego. It's like I've met so many of the biggest artists that just like want to like lift you up, it's like
Especially in reggae.
Yeah.
I feel like they've always, everyone I've
Yeah.
met in the scene is, even the Marleys are just very, humble and fun to talk to, and
and they care about you
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
person in your day and what's going on, and they're always kind. And even just like from an artist perspective, like Hyrie, for example, Trish from Hyrie, it's like she, like, if you think about it from like another perspective, like, like there's a chick in another scene and she's like the only chick, but like she could have like totally like turned her back, and she decided to be like, hey, like I'm gonna take you on tour. I like what you're doing. Like you're sick. And like, it's like, I don't know, I kind of like expected it to be like Mean Girls in high school, and like, everybody to kind of like maybe really make you work for it. And not to say that I haven't, but it's been so beautiful to just like be like accepted with open arms, and for people to be like, hey, I like what you're doing. And like, it's also inspired me to do that for other people too. Like, I'm not like big by any means, but it's like if I hear anything that sounds cool, and like maybe someone has like 100 followers, I'll hit them up and be like, yo, that sounds really cool. It's like, it's just about like what you're there for, like your
course,
pure
yeah.
intention. And I've never experienced anything like that outside of the reggae scene.
What do you play instrument-wise? What can you dabble on?
So when I play live, I mainly sing, but I do play the ukulele. But when I first started touring, it was just me and the ukulele, and I play. I have like a little U bass now. Shout out to Kala, but yeah, I play like a little U bass. But
Have you played around with anything else, or just kind of?
it was so weird for me to like go from like, I used to tour just me solo in like my dad's minivan, and now I've got like this whole rig with all these people.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to evolve the show is kind of been like hard trying to figure out, because it was like when we first started touring, we had like these really big tours, and I just kind of like found these people randomly and like kind of put them together. So it's like now we finally have synergy. Now it's like, okay, how do we make these 10 songs that we're playing more of a show as opposed to just playing 10 songs? So it's like now we're trying to like see where everybody can go, because I really want to do a thing where like, because I could play bass, I'm like, you know, let me take bass, somebody else, I'm like, who's gonna go to drums, like, you know, like I want everybody to just do like a jam, or like we kind of do like slight stupid switch, you know, just kind of like switch it up a bit.
Musical chairs.
Yeah, but like I'm, you know, just trying to do little things like melodica it up a little bit, but like I'm very like type A, so like my brain gets overloaded very quickly, like one track mind type thing.
Yeah.
So like now that I've become a little bit more free flow, maybe more instruments will come my way. No guarantees, but I will try for you.
I think that's well, you were bringing it up, just like small goals, you know. I think that's the best part in the music industry, even for anybody kind of in general. It's just like always make those small little, you know, goals for yourself. It's like, you know, all the small goals end up into the big goals.
Yeah.
But it's like you reach those little benchmarks that really bring happiness to yourself, and you're like, wow, I did this, or like I'm happy with myself internally. And I think that's always something to, you know, it's just, you know, even learning the ukulele, it's just like I always had picked it up and like, you know, sucked it. I can play guitar, but you know, ukulele, like, whoa, this is different, you know. But it's like little goals, you know, after practice and stuff, you know, you start picking up chords and figuring it out. It's just like, I don't know, little, you know.
Yeah,
Well, I
they
think
build up.
that's also the like science behind like manifestation. I think a lot of people think manifestation is like you just think about something and then it's gonna plop into your lap. And like I'm not one of those like, you know, like everybody do their own thing, but like, you know, I'm not like super into like all the tarot card, that type of like astrology shit. Like I just don't do that. But manifestation for me is like very real. And I think it's real because in my mind it's like you are setting those little goals to reach that big goal. So manifestation is like eat, breathe, sleeping that big goal. And so it's like all those little decisions that you're making every day and that you're doing every day are eventually going to get to you where you want to go. So it's like you don't even realize it. And some people think it's just magic, and it's like, no, you're the magic.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right. I spent the last 5-6 years like deeply studying. Are you familiar with Joe Dispenza? I'm gonna send you some stuff because we talk about it all the time. I always bring it up because it's changed my life. It's like if I were to pick one thing that's changed my life, it's been going to his events.
Wow.
So he breaks down the quantum physics and science of how actual manifestation works.
Cool.
And it's actually, and I love watching people like yourself that are doing it naturally without even knowing that you're doing it naturally. You know what I mean? So like when you, one of the things he always says is where you put your attention is where you put your energy, right? So we have a choice right now to be neutral, lack, or to focus energy on whatever. Like, but if it's on what you want to do and you're setting those little goals every single day, you're putting your energy towards that. And then there's other things. I'm excited to like send you stuff. You're going to nerd out on it. And when you're on tour and you're going to be watching his videos and stuff like
Hell
that.
yeah.
But he teaches it. He's actually coming to San Diego in March and I'm going. But I'm going to take you to an event. You're going to hear a lot of, I've been telling Ian about it too for a while. But it's like when you have your brain in coherence, which is harmony, and your heart and your brain, that's like tapping into the Wi-Fi of the hard drive of the game, you know, where all the possibilities exist. Because every possibility exists, and it's just tapping into that and believing in it, you know?
Yeah.
And you're only worthy to receive what you believe you're worthy to receive, you know? So it's cool to see what you've accomplished and like realizing like, holy cow, like I can do this. Like, wow, now they're asking me to be on these songs, you know what I mean?
Well, you know, when you're describing Mr. Joe, it makes me think a lot of like, you know, I grew up in a household, you know, my parents immigrants, whatever. They really got into like the Tony Robbins era of things, you know, of going to those. So I kind of grew up with that like millionaire mind. Like they have all this cassette tapes and all that type of shit. So in my mind, I think growing up, there was a part of me that I was always like a dreamer. It's like I knew that like I would always like go to school and make sure I like made money. Like that was like my goal, was like to make money, buy mom a house, buy dad a house, call it a day. And so I was like, how do I do that? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, medical things pay a lot of money. They like doctors. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'll do it for them. And then, I don't know, I think that there's a part of me where, like, that dreamer mindset has really pushed me in music. And it's, like, not to say that, like, my goal is to, you know, make a lot of money at all. Like, my goal is just really just to be happy. The fact that I am where I am right now, and, like, it like blows my mind, dude, when I'm like at like a festival or a show, like not even at my own show, like I could be at somebody else's show. Like I was at like a green show like at the beach house like last year, and like people were like, oh my god, are you Vana Liya, can I have a picture? And I was like, what the I was like, really? Cool, you know? Like there are people who like have gotten like Vana tattoos, and like for me it's just like there's like a point in my time in my life where I was just like I was so depressed where like I didn't even like want to be around anymore. And it's like there's a part of me that's like, damn, I'm like so happy I like stuck it out, because like I've been looking for like this love or like somewhere to make me feel like worthy and valued. And it's like just I don't know, you just don't even realize how like valued you are until like I went out and I was like, holy shit, like people actually listen to my music. I never thought that. I'm just doing what makes me feel good and what how I get my emotions out. And for someone else to be like, hey, like your song helped me through X, Y, or Z, I'm like, damn, like I don't feel alone. And for them, they're like, damn, I don't feel alone. So it's like this little exchange that we have, and it's beautiful.
That's so awesome.
Do you do a lot of the writing yourself, or do you have a writer, or is it a group project thing?
So my first EP that I did, I got together with this band called Cashed Out, and they kind of introduced me to like how music works. I didn't know
I know
any
who they are,
term.
yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea about like terms or anything like that or whatever. So they really kind of shaped me and like helped me get out. So like my first 5 songs, but then my last record, I did with Johnny Cosmic from Stick Figure, and we just had this like synergy, and it was beautiful. So him and I write the songs together, or sometimes he'll have an idea or I'll have an idea and he works on it and I'll work on it. And most of the time we're in the studio, and like he'll come up with like a really sick beat and we'll kind of work on the melody together.
Yeah.
And then from there it's like while he's building the beat for us to like record to, I'm like writing the lyrics, and then you know we'll kind of comb through them together, because I'm honestly like still new. Like I think that's what blows my mind is people think like I've been doing this for like a long time, or like, you know, I'm like whatever, and I'm like, dude, I like literally like those are my first 10 songs. Like everything I've ever written is like out, you know, like I haven't been doing this for like a while. So I think that when I'm like writing, it's really helpful to have someone like Johnny there for him to like comb through my ideas. And sometimes it's been really cool because he's like, wow, like this is perfect, like let's just go with it where we're at. Or sometimes he'll be like, oh, this word is, you know, maybe won't translate as well. And like those are things I would like never really think of. I'm just putting feelings on paper. So it's been helpful because I think definitely from the last record to this record, he's helped me like shape my musician mind on like how to write, because less and less I'm finding him like really picking at what I'm writing. And it's been nice, but I'm still like have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just like, okay, if this works, great. I'm like, it sounds good to me. It sounds good to you.
I mean, yeah, the process is always very different with every artist. I feel like it's always, you know, different, but it's always cool and unique to see how, you know, how it works or what people go through when they write. I mean, there's, you know, and there's a handful of just great writers out there just writing for everyone as well.
Right.
Like I'm in the industry, so I can see who like these writers are, and I'm just like, wow. Like I'm helping out a few artists right now. We're hiring the writers for doing these songs, and I'm just like, you know, wow, you wrote this, or like you you wrote, yeah, you know, Electric Feels and all this other songs that are hits, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow, you did the writing for these, like, you know, and you'd be looking at the artist like, oh, the artist did, but you know, it's the writers behind it too a lot of the time. But it's, you know, it's cool to see you know, the difference between artists that do their own writing, you know, and then also people that, you know, hire in, you know, because it's an art just on its own, just doing the writing, you know,
Oh yeah,
singing instruments, you know, chord progressions, everything that's, you know, every part of the band, and you know, is its own little part of art. It all comes together to create, you know, magic.
right. Even just being the face, it's still cool that that's an artistic part.
Oh yeah.
And then writing, I love writing. Do you know Kat Nessel by chance?
Who?
Kat Nessel.
I don't think so.
So Kat, she was doing vocals for a lot of people. I met her. She recorded at 17th Street.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I know those.
So she was big in the scene, and then like She was the one that brought Rome around
Cool.
from Sublime. But Eric, he knows Eric Wilson very well.
Cool.
Eric knows Kat very well. So she was,
Okay,
yeah.
so I was recording with Louis for a little bit, and then I met Kat, and then wrote a few songs with her, and like
Cool.
that, you saying that synergy,
Yeah.
because she is such. I can't wait. I want to introduce you to her. She lives in
Hell
Long
yeah.
Beach. She is such a badass. She plays the guitar and sings.
Hell yeah.
She's moved into. She did worked with like the Lay Me Down song.
Yeah, of course.
So she has a good story about how that was written, but then she does the backup vocals of Taste Like Tequila When We Kiss.
Oh,
so
nice.
She's the female vocals there. But she dabbled into house music. I haven't talked to her in a minute, but you guys would for sure make some magic together. But it's just so cool, like when you felt that with Johnny. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, wow, okay. And then it's just like you're creating art together, and it's just like smooth.
It just pulls you in a different direction because it's like, we obviously met through reggae music, and when he met me, I was playing just solo ukulele, so we had this idea of like what I should sound like, and it's like you can't really get into somebody else's head until they show you what's in their head,
Right.
So it's like we kind of created like this new genre in a sense, because it's like anytime I tried to like explain what my music sounds like, I'm like, oh well, it's like reggae, like if City and Color did reggae, like it's like folky indie type of reggae vibe, like singer-songwriter-ish. And so it's cool because like, a lot of people do like I've had a few sessions with like hired in writers, and like they're cool and stuff. And but it's like so funny. It's like anytime I've ever done that and like bring the song back to Johnny, he's like, I don't know, this is like not, he doesn't necessarily want to produce it. And it's not to say that like the song was bad or anything like that. It's just what we create together is just like such a pure thing. And it really is just like like from the emotion. So it's like, we've done like I've put out other songs with other people and things like that. But and I think that certain artists will do one record with one person and one record with another person. And I've started to realize how other people's like careers have been shaped and what my options are. But every time I think about it, I'm like, man, like I can't really think of working with anybody other than Johnny, because every time like I get together with somebody else, I feel like my essence isn't captured the way that he captures it. Like I think him seeing me solo ukulele tour, he like gets my vibe, what I'm going for, and he treats my vocals proper. Like he totally like gets the vibe of like, I just want to cry by the end of every song, and he like does that. He like knows what
He's a
to do. Yeah, he does the build up. Like he knows what's gonna like really get me going. And so I don't know. I don't know. Eventually, maybe I'll work with somebody else. But I was like, hey, you're gonna do like my next like 85 records, right? And he's like, I guess so.
I mean, I feel like with reggae too, that is kind of the case. Like, you have more like people singing from the heart, and it's more of a feel. When you look at like other music with rock or house or any other kind of genre, it's a little bit different than like coming from reggae. Reggae is really about the vibes, and like very few artists out there, like even like Marley from Revolution was even they do all the writing in house. Like they don't bring in any writers. Like I don't actually know. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
like
it's not so much pop,
reggae,
right?
where
Like
it's
reggae's reggae, and then pop.
Well, they have like reggae
Culture.
fusion, right? They have like some reggae pop bands and stuff like that. But for the most part, like most everybody does like a lot of their own writing. They have like some people who like will hire in, and like it makes sense for like their style of music. But it was like when I would get together with like these pop writers, like Johnny'd be like, yo, this sounds really pop.
Exactly.
And
The
I
poppy
was like,
stuff.
yo, you're so right. Like it's really catchy, but it's not Vana. And he really taught me the value of like, it's not to say that like I didn't know what selling out was, or that it was selling out or whatever. It's just like I didn't really get the grip of like what my vibe was.
Your brand, creating your brand.
I was trying to figure that out, and then I
very
was like, you
important.
know what, like this is a really catchy song. But he like really taught me the value of like, you know what, like if the song's not for you, like just cut your loss, like take the writing credit and give it to somebody else. And I was like, you're so right, because I have this particular image and a message that I want to convey. And like I've always had a thing where like I always want to put out positive music. Like even if I'm writing through a struggle, there's going to be a bridge that like shows the silver lining of whatever we're talking about, and it's going to be positive, because I think a lot of people come to reggae because it is positive. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people come to festival, like I think like why there's like not too much like bad stuff that goes down at reggae festivals is because everybody has already so much bad stuff happening. They're trying to leave that at home and just go smoke a joint with like the person at the show. So because it's very rare that like I'll be at a reggae fest and like I'm worried about my bag. You know,
Right.
it's like everybody's
Absolutely.
just trying to chill and vibe. And occasionally, you know, like maybe you're in a bad area, things happen. But like, it's for the most part, everybody's just like trying to chill and hang and love life. And so
It's true.
when you write music like that, I guess, you know, it's like, how could you like have anything other than that? So,
Yeah, like reggae for sure. Different types of music. Reggae is coming from love, right? At least it should. Most of the time. Who are you? Other than Pepper, who do you listen to a lot?
like, are we talking in the reggae scene or are we talking like in
Just in
general?
general.
Just inspirations. Yeah.
Inspirations. Okay. Well, see, that's the hard part is because when I'm writing, I'm never really like, oh man, I want to sound like this or this. But if I'm going for like a vibe, I really enjoy Chronix. I think he's got such a soft tone. I think he's doing a lot of new things. He's staying like rootsy, but also kind of like changing it up just a little bit. And so I really enjoy him. But like from a songwriting perspective, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this guy, City and Color. He's from Canada, but he was like in this band called Alexis on Fire, and it was like kind of like this like hardcore band. And then he did his own like acoustic indie stuff, and he'll like put poetry in a song. Like his songs are like he like uses the most like intense vernacular, and it's like songs that wouldn't normally like words that wouldn't flow off the tip of your mouth, but they tip of your tongue, but they just like flow out of your mouth. So I really like him for like lyrical inspiration because I think I don't like to sing in cliches. I think it's very easy to do that in reggae is what I should say. It's not that like it's frowned upon or whatever, but it's just very easy to like, you know, sun is shining, life is great, beautiful, everything. So it's like, how do we just like turn that up a little bit where like, you know, we're just getting a little bit more descriptive of like the feelings and not so vague. So I really like City and Color for that reason. I feel like he's able to sing me a poem, and I think that's kind of hard.
I like that. Yeah.
So yeah, but then I'm all over the place. It's like it really depends on my mood. It's like if I'm on a long drive, it's like I'll listen to like some house that just kind of makes me not like feel the time, you know. But if I'm like going to the gym, it's like, you know, I got some Lil Wayne going on, like, you know. But if I'm smoking a joint, you got some reggae feeling, you know. So
Yeah.
it depends on my mood. I'm all over the place.
What do you have? What do you have coming up that you'd want to share with?
Well, I am dropping my second record at some point in 2024 with Johnny Cosmic, and we have a Christmas song, and I'm trying to push him into a Christmas album, so maybe that'll also happen in 2024. But I've just got a tour with the Hip Abduction at the end of April on the East Coast, and I think I'll be heading to Florida in March, so just trying to go wherever the wind takes me, you know. I'll also be eating some Smiles in my future, maybe smoking some Smile products.
Absolutely. Eating and smoking.
Yeah, you know.
Maybe drinking.
Yeah, everything. We're gonna get high. We're gonna get high.
What is? Do you know what your favorite flavor is that we have?
I really like the Ocean Citrus Breeze. That's my
the Ocean
favorite.
Beach Citrus
Yeah,
Breeze?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that one. That one's pretty good.
Awesome.
I don't even look at like sativa indica hybrid anymore. I'm just like, oh, this looks good. Like, oh, I'll eat this.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch. I'll have a whole bunch of gifts for you in like 2 weeks. Are you going to be here in 2 weeks?
I will be here in 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And I have a navy blue and pink hat my drummer wears. I'll try to get some photos.
Oh, awesome.
There's got to be photos of him somewhere. He wears it all the time at the shows, so I'm sure he's got photos in it.
Awesome.
But yeah, we love Smile, and I really appreciate you guys like having me on and stuff. I'm like a really big fan of the brand, and it's cool to see creatives get with creatives, and it's not just like music people stay with music people. It's like, you know, like you're cannabis and music and cannabis and music, and you know, it's like, and then outside of us, then you have like, you know, the sports people that come through, the pro athletes and the other entrepreneurs that come on. So it's just a really beautiful way to connect everybody. So I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we made this happen. I love your music. I love your vibe, and I appreciate Golden State Greens and you guys so much for believing in us in the beginning. Really excited to have all these events coming up. Ian and I have a bunch of really cool things we're working on. These videos, we're calling them Life Smile videos.
Cool.
So Ellie Mac's coming in soon. So hopefully, I posted this. Hopefully this sparks a song with both of you guys at some point.
I like every time I remember one time I played Cali Roots and she was like in front of me and I was like for 20 minutes I was like, fuck, I'm gonna ask her for a picture. I really want to ask her for a picture. And I just didn't do it. And then she turned around, she looked at me and I was like, can I have a picture? And she was like, yeah, of course, like, how are you? And she like totally knew who I was and I was like, no freaking way. It's like every time I see her, like I know like we're homies, but I'm always like, hi, Miss Ellie Mac, how are you? You know, like.
Yeah, she's definitely a badass.
But it's good. You keep yourself grounded that way, you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, she's probably saying the same thing about you.
Yeah, she's a homie. It's cool to see just, like, other girls doing it. I think, like, you know, just, like, seeing Trish from Hyrie and Ellie Mac, like, hold it down. And, like, it's cool because they'll have these headlining tours, and they're the ones commanding the room. They're the ones who are, like, you know, everybody's there to see them. And it's like, as a chick who's like opening up for all these dudes, I haven't really seen that too much. So it's like really empowering to like go to these like sold out 500, 600 people shows. And it's like, you know, they're the ones who are like at the front of the stage. Like it's like, oh fuck, I can do that too.
Right. I'm super excited. We're working on a couple festivals and we're doing an art show. And I eventually want to do, you know, like a surf competition, a skate competition, and just bring this whole community together. You know, very grateful. Ian, we have Danny Way coming down here right now, and, you know, we're going to be creating all kinds of, like for our art show, for example, we're doing a live art competition. My buddy Dante is an amazing guy, works with the Contemporary Art Museum of La Jolla, so he's brought me these really cool artists to be our judges. And then we're going to do submissions and then pick 8 people. Then they're going to do groups of 4, but they're going to do a live art competition. So when the clock hits, they're not going to know what they're painting until I announce it.
Wow,
cool. And then boom, you know, they're going to paint. So all the artists are going to have their art for sale, or if they want. So it'll be an art show, but then also a live art competition. Like, so we're really trying to do like experience events, you know. And then when they're done, we're going to take 2 of the artists and then have 3 guest judges so 5 total judges, and then bring in people in the community. You know, hopefully a San Diego Padre or. You know, maybe you can come in and be a judge.
Yeah,
you know?
Cool.
Maybe bring Slightly Stupid or someone. And then, you know, really just promote community and bring artists together and bring a cool experience. And then connect everybody. And then in between, while the judges in the next group of 4 coming up, you know, maybe have your bikini line have model in between that, you know?
Of course. Always
you know?
Yeah, honestly, it's like all the cool people already live down here. We're already doing like stuff separately, and there's all these like events, but we just need the one common denominator. So I think that would be a really cool thing, just from like a creative standpoint too. You know, just to see everybody like come together. Like, you know, that's so cliche, but like I love seeing everybody come together. It's like all we can do for each other is be there for each other. Like, this life is so short, lifetime is so short, so to be able to connect and create with like different people that like maybe you wouldn't have been able to cross paths with on like a normal day, it's like a beautiful blessing to have that. So I really hope that you guys are able to like accomplish everything that you want to, because it all sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want Smyle to be the glue that brings all of these people. You know, that's what's really amazing about San Diego. My experience being here is I've lived in, you know, LA, San Francisco. I grew up in Fresno and Huntington Beach and Las Vegas and Oakland. And it seemed like a lot of people were divisive, or people saw people as threats, you know? It wasn't open arms welcome, like, oh, we're doing the same thing or we're doing similar things. It's kind of standoffish. And a lot of people in my experience have been very welcoming to me, which I'm very grateful for. And now I want to bring all of them together, you know?
I love that.
So, yeah. But anything else you want to share before we shut it down?
No, I just want to say thank you one more time. And I'm just very grateful for all of this and looking forward to seeing where you guys go from here, because it's only up.
Yeah, well, thank you. And we're excited to see where you go and anything we can do to help. Right on.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Don't forget to smile.
That's right.
Love your energy.